after you graduated and you get the Avon gig, now all of a sudden, instead of being a part of it, you have to build it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what was your mindset going into doing that job for the first time, and what was the state? I don't even know. Like, what was the state of Avon's program when you first got that gig?
Jay Webb was the director,
Mm-hmm.
who is retiring. Tomorrow is his last day of
Oh
school.
wow.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had started building the program, and it was ready to have an assistant band director.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the parameters were it had to be a first year teacher, and I graduated at the right time.
Right.
So, and we were literally talking about it, and I was like, you know, I thanked him for being a huge part of my life, and my career, whether at Avon or Crown. He didn't have to let me do Crown or drum corps at all,
Mm-hmm.
but he wanted that, and he supported that, and all that. So, and I, thanked him for taking a chance on me. He didn't know who I was. All he knew is that it had to be a first year teacher, and the star drum major was applying for it,
Mm-hmm.
the job. And so it's like, all right, well, there we go. So that was it. That's how it happened. I mean, so
But it's like you have these leadership abilities already. So he must have seen that if you're like a drum major that, okay.
sure, by the title, not because he knew who I was.
No, yeah.
I mean, and then we got to know each other, and then it was just all about having fun, doing, and it was, in building, it's like, okay, let's try to do this. Let's try to make state finals. Let's try to do that. And that was our goal, marching band. Let's try to get this rating in concert band. Let's try to, he had already built the percussion section. When I got there, they had already won a Class A WGI championship. So my first year was their second Class A WGI championship. So, and then he had started the Indiana. He was one of many people that started the Indiana Percussion Association. So that was Jay Webb. But anyway, it was always about, hey, our goal. We just want to make state finals. It's all. And my second year, we did, and I won't forget that night. I mean, dude, if you've seen Jay Webb, he's a big guy, he's tall, big, bear hugged me. So I was a lot smaller than I am now. So it was, it was awesome, and and then from there it's like, okay, I think we got ninth that year. We were also a part of BOA, so it's like, can we make semifinals at BOA? The next year, can we try to get to the top five? Can we try to make finals for BOA? So it was always the next thing. In everything we did, whether it was marching band or whether it was our concert bands or whether it was our WGI groups. It's like, okay, we got this far this year, let's see if we can do this next year. And let's see if in everything that we did. So, and that was obviously a lot of fun. And then and it also helped that the community was growing. That also helped. Avon was just, and it still is really, it's exploding west side of Indianapolis. So, we a new school was being built, a new band room, and in my time at Avon, I've had 3 offices. I've had 3 band rooms in my 26 years at Avon, because the school has expanded, the community has expanded. And we're not stopping. It continues to grow, and we're going to add on to the school starting next year. But yeah, so that certainly helped. But yeah, and then you would add people. After 4 years or so, we added Daniel Wiles, who has been a huge part of Avon. And then just adding more help. And the parent support has always been a 10, it's always great. But you just add people, you need some more help, we add these people, and you end up building to, what it is. now. So
You talked about the percussion program being strong and established when you got there. Was it on your shoulders to build up the winds side of that, the winds program, or what were you tasked with, like, coming into that assistant band director position?
well, I was tasked to help Jay. Yeah, he never put any pressure on me. He's a band director, and he loved the percussion thing because he's a percussionist. So obviously that was his baby. But when it comes to the winds and the concert bands, Jay's a band director, and he wanted that to be great too. So it was a team, always a team. So, and as the older I've gotten, and the more experienced, the more he would be like, well, Matt, why don't you just do that, like this band, because we gotten more bands. We have 5 concerts. Didn't have 5 concert bands my first year, so like, why don't you do this? So yeah, I mean, it was kind of that, but no, Jay never said, hey, you know what, you're coming in here and it's your job to do this. It was never that. It was, let's get to know each other. And like I said earlier, he's going to do this. That's his job. My job is it evolved into, you're great at this, so you're going to do that. It's like Bill Belichick. This is what you're great at. This is what you're doing. Daniel Wiles comes in. He's a master at the guard. You're doing that, and you're, that's what you are going to do. So I would, for a while there, I was teaching the marching technique. Well, that's not me. So we brought somebody else in, because they're great at that, and that's what they do. And so it's ultimately learning about each other, and then learning what we're great at, and then that's what we do. Let's build off each other's strengths.
Yeah.
For the young band directors out there that look up to people like you and other people in the activity, what is some advice you can give them that are looking to build a program from the ground floor up? Like, where would they start? If you were taking over a program brand new, what would be like the first things that you would do?
Oh man, I don't know. It's
is that too vague of a question?
No, it's, I just have to, I mean, we're going to hang up and I'll think of 10 different things to say.
Sure.
But the first thing that comes to mind is surround yourself with great people. But how do you do that? That's easier said than done, but also, find people that you want to be with, that you're going to have a great time with. So there's that as well. Find people that you surround yourself with great people. If you ask that to Jay Webb and say, hey, how did you build Avon? He would say, I surrounded myself with great people. And that's what he would say. And when you surround yourself with great people, great things are going to happen. Mm-hmm. So that's probably maybe one of the top answers, for a young person. But other than that, the importance of building relationships. And it's not even, how do I make a good sound on concert F? It's, building. You have to be able to build relationships in this world, not only with students, but with parents, with members of the faculty. You got to be able to build relationships, and if you're able to do that, then you're going to be successful. So it's not easy. I mean, building a program like Avon that is world class in everything that we do, it's not easy. And I would also add this, as I'm rambling: be patient. It's not going to happen in 1 year.
Yeah.
You're not going to come in and all of a sudden, yeah, we're Grand National Champ. We just won a WGI. That's not going to happen that way. And maybe nobody else, maybe you really don't expect that, but it takes time. to build. Take the first step. WGI is a perfect. They set it up great. A class. You're A class first. Be great at that, and then go to open class, and be great at that, and then you can go to world class.
Yeah.
Try to make state final. That was our first goal as a marching band. Just make state finals. Be in the top 10 of state finals. Just make semifinals. That was a big moment for us at Avon. We knew we didn't have a chance to make finals, but we were performing the last day of marching band, and that was a big deal for us. That was really cool. So, find those small rewards, to build. And you know what? Sometimes you might have a setback, but you're going to learn from it, and then you take the next step. And so Donnie would always say to me, as long as you are moving forward in the right direction, no matter how big the step, sometimes you can take a big step forward, sometimes it's really small. But as long as you're moving forward, you're doing the right thing.
Now, talking with Larry Shane, who's on your staff at Carolina Crown, who's a friend of mine on Facebook, he mentioned your relationship with Donnie VanDoren. It seems like he was a very important mentor to you. Is that a safe assumption to say?
That is a very safe assumption, yes.
It is like a lot of what you do, is it modeled after stuff that he's taught you? Like
Absolutely.
Along the way? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's cool.
He was hard on us, but he loved us. He he had a lot of pride in us. It was everything. It was that perfect teacher, coach, and I still lean on him. I still call, that will not stop. So, I'll send him. It's like, all right, here was our latest video. What you got? And then I'll say, I want you to kick my butt. What you got? Throw it out there. Don't hold back. You're not going to hurt my feelings. No one's going to get your thoughts. It's just going to be me. So throw it out there.
It's awesome that these drum corps relationships end up lasting decades, amongst all of us, with the people that we've come up with and who've instructed us as well.
I imagine you get to be somebody else's Donnie VanDoren. Like you mentorship is a big part of what you do.
If I can be that to somebody like Donnie was to me, that might be the biggest compliment that I could ever get. I don't know if that could happen, because Donnie is, certainly he's been that for me. I mean, he's that important to me. So, but if I could be even close to, even 50% of what Donnie's given to me, if I can be that to somebody else, it would be an honor. It would be a huge compliment.
But in your own way, of course. Like it's like with everything, we take all of that, all of the great stuff that we were taught, all of the stuff that inspired us, and we make it our own, right? We make it our own, and we move it forward, and pass it on to the next people that need it. And so early on in your time at Avon, I mean, like literally you're transitioning from being a performer to, okay, doing this for a living, right? Did you and your wife get married sort of during that time, late 90s? I don't know how long you've been married.
Yeah, we got married in 97. Mm-hmm. So
it was right around that same time. We
kind of lived in sin for a while. Right. So like when I got the Avon job, got an apartment, and she's an elementary school teacher. She got a job, and lived together for a while, and then got married. Our biggest thing we wanted for a wedding present was a house, a down payment on a house.
Yep.
So that's all we really wanted, and started a family and have two great kids, and
How did you get back into drum corps? Is that something that you knew you'd wanted to do after finishing with Star? Is like, one day I want to be an instructor, or was it like an accidental, somebody just, hey, you're teaching band now, you want to come instruct? How did that come to be? Because you went to cadets, correct?
I did. That kind of started with Donnie calling me and saying that, hey, thinking about going, getting back in, into drum corps again. Okay, where you want to go? And so, and then we got, I'm sure George Hopkins called Donnie and to, find a brass staff for cadets in 98. And so myself and Frank Sullivan, Donnie was around a lot. We put together, he put together, put a staff together for the cadets. And Mark Whitlock was there too. That's kind of how that happened. And of course I wanted to be a part of that, be with Frank, be with Donnie again. And drum corps is all about people. So that was big. I mean, of course I wanted to do that.
So was it like, here's this corps you grew up idolizing that you never got to march, and now all of a sudden you're on staff there. Was it like, did you have to pinch yourself?
It was a lot of fun. There was no doubt about it. It was a lot of fun. Getting to know April Gilligan, Tom Ungst, Jay Bocook. I mean, getting to know all of those guys. And the show was so much fun. The funny thing about that one was we were going to do Festive Overture that year. And February, maybe April, all of a sudden we'd get out of a sectional and Bocook, and maybe it may have been Hopkins too, came up in a van and we're like, hey, listen to this. So, and obviously we're like, wow, that's awesome. And Bocook was like, I think we're changing our show. Donnie didn't want to do it. He's like, we should, play it safe, but they made the call to play Stonehenge instead. And man, that was a lot of fun. It was just it was just so cool to be around all of those people. So much fun. So, but did I have to pinch myself? Yeah, it was exciting, and it was, especially when they put the uniforms on for the first time, and you see that cadet. And I was there before they got the new round, so I saw how many safety pins it took to put that thing on, right? So yeah, it was great to be around that corps with the traditions that they had. That we started obviously making those at Star, but you didn't have that. We came from Holy Name Cadets, and we had a corps song, but it's a little, when you go to cadets, it's different, So, but yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's like your first year there, they win everything. So I guess that show change helped out.
Yeah, it ended up working out. Yeah,
okay.
That's like, I guess, in '85 too. Originally, I'd heard or read somewhere they were going to do a Pat Metheny show. Then they found out Blue Devils was doing Pat Metheny, so then they switched it to the Jeremiah and Candide, and the rest is history on that one too. So, but yeah, so you got 98. You teach there through 02, and you win 2 titles there as a staff member, correct?
That's not true. I did 80 or 98 and 99. In 2000, 2001, I was not there.
Oh, okay.
Is that Gino? I think Gino may have gone there. I think.
Okay. Were you teaching anywhere during that time?
Gino and Wayne Dillon, I know, was there. No, I didn't actually. My son was born that summer. So after '99, we knew we weren't going to go back to the cadets. So at that point, I did a couple of things. Well, obviously, a son was born, and I started getting my master's degree. So I did a lot of summer classes and all that. I did help. Michael Klesch called me. That's where ultimately I met Michael Klesch. Was, of course I knew Michael Klesch. You kidding me? Who doesn't know Michael Klesch? But I ended up. Michael called me because he was writing for Phantom Regiment at that time, and he said, "Dude, what are you doing right now?" I said, "Well, I'm home. I just ended school." He's like, "There's no brass staff at Phantom Regiment right now. Can you go up there and be there for a week or so?" Talk to Susie, and I said, "Well, yeah, I could do this." He's like, "That would be great." So I went up there. I was not on the staff, didn't do any of their spring or camps. I went up there because they had no brass staff. So I hung out with Phantom Reg the khaki years. They did. I know they did some bar talk that year too. So I did that a little bit. Michael Klesch called me and said, "Hey, could you help me with the Phantom Regiment?" And obviously it ended up working out. I never saw Michael that year, but I did some spring training for the Phantom Regiment during their khaki years. So obviously it was great getting to know Michael, and of course I looked at him as an icon, and now he's still an icon, but he's also one of my best friends. So, but I met him because cadets did that whole thing with YEA, and Michael was writing for the Crossmen. So there was a camp, a weekend where the Crossmen and the cadets would be together. And so that's when I got to kind of hang out with Michael a little bit more, kind of got to know him. So, then he called me knowing I was Indiana and Rockford was like 5 hours away. So, he called me and asked for some help. And of course I was there to help him. So I did that for 2000 and 2001. So my son was born. I took some summer classes to get my master's degree. Like I said, it wasn't a lot. It was just kind of, hey, can you help? And Leon May was writing the drill for Phantom at the time as well. So there was that. And now this is the funny story. Michael will hate me for saying this, but he called me and said that George called him to write for the cadets for 2002. And I was like, dude, and at the same time, Donnie had been, there was this talk of maybe Jim Mason helping out the Madison Scouts, which ended up happening, but later. Okay. So I'm not afraid to say that. But that had been talked about early 2000s. I don't remember when exactly the Mason Management Group actually ended up officially helping Madison. I don't remember when that was, but I had already, been to Crown and solidified that and was starting that that program. So anyway, so there was that talk, and then Michael said, "Hey, George talked to me and talked about writing for the cadets again." And I was like, "Of course I want to be with you as you go back to the cadets. Are you kidding me? That would be awesome." So yeah, count me in. So he said, "Okay, Wayne Dillon's going to call you because he's the caption head now, and yeah, we're going to make this happen." Cool. Wayne Dillon calls me, said, "Matt, can you be a trumpet tech?" I said, "Dude, I would love to. Count me in. Thanks." 2 days later, I get on the YEA website, and it said that George Hopkins hires Don Hill as the arranger.
Oh
wow.
So I call Michael, flip phone back then. Michael, what's up? He was like, "Oh yeah, I decided not to do it." How about the courtesy call?
Yeah, right. You're trying to plan your summer, and
So it's a funny story that I often tell, and Michael hates the story, but it's obviously all great. I enjoyed getting to know Wayne Dillon that year, and I wasn't going to back out. I committed, and I said, "Hey, I will do it," and I didn't want to back out of that commitment. So I did that. I enjoyed, like I said, getting to know Wayne Dillon a lot more. He's an incredible person in our activity, whether it's teaching or evaluating. So I certainly enjoyed that, and of course being around the cadets again. All those April Gilligan and Tom and Jay Bo Cook, Don Hill. It was great getting to know Don Hill as well. So I remember hearing Don Hill's voice in tapes when he used to judge Star. So I remember that, and to get to know him as a writer, and Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy was a lot of fun. So and the line was a great bunch of characters as well. So but ultimately, it. Not gonna lie, I loved hanging out with those people, and so I don't want to say that I didn't like it. That wasn't the case, but I just wanted to do we all of a sudden we got some calls about doing Crown, and Jim Coates called me, And
Was Michael Klesch the first one that got the call for Crown? Like,
yes, Jim Coates. Michael was the first one to commit to Crown. Yes. And then Michael said that he'd love to work with me, and I said, "Now, are you sure?" So, but also that again, there was talk about Mason Management Group helping out Madison. So, I was kind of torn. Should I, but obviously, I went with Michael and started and with Jim and Leon and I think Daniel was there too. I think maybe first couple years. I think so. So
so you get to Crown and you take over a horn line that had finished 15th in 02, and you get there at 03, and then you start to build and climb. That first year, I want to say the horn line got 12th. Is that correct?
Yeah, we were pumped because we knew we were going to make finals. So and obviously that was the goal. That the drum corps, and the percussion section was great. The color guard was really good. The show was cool, So the brass line was just like, all right, let's try not to kill the drum corps. And so semifinals, we're like, man, it would be great to at least make finals as a brass line. And so, yes, we were 12th. We were 12th in semifinals, and then obviously 12th in finals too. So,
Avon High School, to steal a line from the Avon High School drumline, did you guys have the playbook? Like, because that's what their drumline, the show was this year, and they ended up winning in 2022. Mm-hmm. Is that how it was set up for you guys at Crown? Did you have like a playbook, like, okay, this is what we're going to do to build this core and horn line up to what it is now? Or was it just year by year? Here we go.
Was it at all similar to the Avon experience, where it was like, we have these, let's do the next thing, and then let's do the next thing, and let's do the next thing?
I would say this. First, it's let's be around people we want to be around.
Right.
So sorry to go back to that, but that
makes sense.
I actually like that you are going back to that, because from the outside, right, people can assume a lot of things about how to do this for themselves, and you stating and restating that how important that is something that people, if they want to recreate some of that experience, and they need to know that this is essential to that.
You're going to sacrifice a lot to do drum corps. You're not going to, if you do drum corps for your career, you got to do a lot more to, provide for your family, So, drum corps, like many people say, you don't do it for the money, you don't do that. You do it for the experience, and you do it for the people. And that's why you do drum corps. I was going to leave my wife and now my little kid, and and to go on the road for 3 weeks. And why am I doing that? For what? What are you doing? So it's important that when you go there, that you have the best time, and you have moments where you are laughing so hard that your tears coming down. There will be some moments of this sucks and whatever, but there's countless stories that have nothing to do with place that we got, that are way more important than what place we got. So ultimately, there was no playbook. There was let's be around people we want to be around, and let's be as good as we can be. But you're right. It was like, okay, the brass line was 12th. There were a lot more issues that first year other than being 12th. It was trying to fill the line, because we came out with X amount of holes, and we had to try to recruit while we're on the road. And so,
oh, wow, really? Wow.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And there was a bass drum that held a baritone,
Wow.
It was, all right, dude, this is your spot now.
Yeah.
So, and we really didn't fill the line until like the last week or so. So the first year was, I just hope we fill the line out. And then the next year, we made finals, so it was a little bit easier to have, the line. And, at that point it was, I'm not sure if it was, there would be groups of drum corps that you compete with.
Mm-hmm.
You compete with the spirits, and, you compete that, and it's like, okay, these are the drum corps that, Blue Knights,
Right.
we're competing with them and we want to beat them,
Like we're talking about earlier, the tiers. You got to,
yeah, right.
punch past to the next tier. Yeah.
There's other stuff too. It's like, we were a feeder corps for the Cavaliers at that time, the goal was to keep everybody, get them to come back. That's what we wanted to do. Year 2, come back, because it's going to be better. You want to build, we have to get the kids to come back. You can't start from scratch again. Get the kids to come back. But we would lose a handful because they wanted to march the Cavaliers. Early 2000s, who wouldn't? Come on. So you didn't really blame them, but, as we're trying to, do our thing, we also got, again, I can't not credit, Kevin Smith, Jim Coates, for investing in Crown Brass, getting new horns. They had just got a brand new set of horns for the 2003 year. And then we ended up getting another new set the next year. And that was the Kings. We got a set of Kings. So which really improved our sound at that point in time. And so I think we kept those for a couple of years, and then eventually, ended up being, Yamaha wanted to invest, and, we had a Yamaha drum corps and all of that. So, that was, the support of the administration trying to build, this can't go unnoticed. It was vital in the building of the brass line, and obviously the entire drum corps.